All right, so we're in time for an eBay unboxing. Let's do this in fast motion. It's a new saint of the day. This is probably one of the prettiest relics in my collection. This is definitely, now the seller didn't know much about it. This is definitely a first class relic. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let's zoom in there. Look at the size of this. And this one is an ossibus, which is the bone of Mary Margaret or Margaret Mary Alacoque. We'll do more research on her in a moment and what this saint did and what she was known for. But look at this beautiful, beautiful reliquary or teca. They call this a teca. Let's turn it over and look at this. Look at the size of this. To see if it's real, let's just open the back. And yeah, it has, this is definitely genuine. Look at this. This is a postulated general. We can see the Spanish coat of arms on there. This is sealed on both ends. This was never tampered with. This is real. It's a lot of fakes out there. You got to be very careful, but I could tell this is real. And it's quite beautiful. I'm going to clean it up, and then I'm going to place it in a reliquary. And you're going to be like, why? Why go through all this trouble? Well, because you really need to keep these things in really nice condition. You want to really, how can I explain, venerate your relic and make sure that it's actually protected from any kind of moisture. So let's go ahead and get some Simicrone and clean this. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So Saint Mary Margaret Alacoque was canonized on May 13th in 1920 by Pope Benedict the 15th, I believe it was. And so this is probably from the canonization. I can tell this is a very, very old teca. Okay, let's get it cleaned, and we're going to put it in a reliquary. We're going to find out more about this saint. Look how nice and shiny it is with just a little Simicrone. So just take care of your relics. And now we're going to put it in a reliquary. And I just absolutely lucked out on this one because this one is one of the most unique looking tecas I've seen in a long time. So I'm going to say it really fast because you guys get bored easily. This is a first class relic. First class relic is of the body of the saint. Whether it be a body part of, it could be their fingernail. Second class is something they touch or wore in life. It could be a glove, it could be a veil, it could be a tunic, a shoe. So we're going to place this in something called a reliquary, which holds the relic and keeps it safe for many generations to come. And you need to do that to respect the relic. All right, so I placed it in a beautiful, beautiful reliquary. These are not cheap, unfortunately. And I also I made a prayer card for this. Actually, I don't know if you can see this. I placed a prayer card of St. Margaret Mary Alacoque in this thing, and I laminated it with really beautiful flowers from my yard and a feather. And now we're going to actually turn this into a third class relic. And on the back, there's a prayer with the flowers as well. So we're going to make this a third class relic. And then what I do is I usually hang them on the front. And so I know which saint I have because I have over 50 first class relics. So because look, the lettering is really small. I don't know if you can see this. So it's very hard to make out, like when you have all your relics on the counter, like I do. Yes, on the counter. My husband's not very happy about that, but this is a beautiful Gothic cathedral type of, it looks like a little church. And this is actually quite lovely. All right, let's find out more about this beautiful saint and wonderful mystic. I love mystic saints. Saints that saw visions or levitated or saw into the future. And she's one of them. She's such a saint, and she was a mystic. And let's find out more about her.
Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque was a French nun who lived in the 17th century. She had a special devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and received many visions of him. She is a patron saint of those who suffer from heart problems and those who are devoted to the Sacred Heart. Margaret Mary was born in 1647 in a small town in Burgundy, France. Her father died when she was 8 years old and she was sent to a boarding school run by the Poor Clares. There she developed a love for prayer and the Eucharist, but also suffered from a mysterious illness that left her bedridden for 4 years. When she recovered, she returned to her family and helped them with their farm. She felt a call to religious life, but her mother and brothers opposed to her decision. They wanted her to marry and secure their Margaret Mary prayed for God's will and waited patiently for his guidance. In 1671, she finally entered the Visitation Convent in Parelemonial, where she embraced the humble and simple life of a nun, but also faced many trials and temptations. She felt lonely and misunderstood by her sisters and superiors. She doubted her vocation and her fate. But God had special plan for her. She chose her to reveal his Sacred Heart to the world. Between 1673 and 1675, she received several visions of Jesus who showed her his heart burning with love for humanity. He asked her to spread this devotion and make it known to everyone. He also gave her 12 promises for those who honor his Sacred Heart, such as peace, mercy, grace, joy, and eternal salvation. He asked her to receive Holy Communion on the first Friday of every month and to observe a holy hour of prayer every Thursday night in the memory of his agony in the garden. Margaret Mary obeyed Jesus and shared his messages with her confessor, Father Cloud de la Colombienne, who supported her and helped her write them down. He also encouraged her to face the opposition and criticism that she received from others who did not believe or understand her. Margaret Mary suffered much for the sake of the Sacred Heart, but she also experienced great joy and peace in his presence. She died in 1690 at the age of 43 after saying, "I need nothing but God and to lose myself in the heart of Jesus." She was canonized by Pope Benedict XV